indefensible in the eyes of the New Zealand public.
The Honourable Tauhenare.
Mr. Speaker, I was intrigued at the talk this afternoon by David Parker about unemployment, and wanted to maybe flick the House of a few observations of my own. And one of those observations is particularly for Māori unemployment, which is not the 20% as Mr. Parker said in this House. It is unfortunately 15%. One of the reasons why we do have and always have had a very, very large and shameful Māori unemployment rate is because we're actually very, very young. Our youth population is very, very large, and it is one of the reasons why we have such high unemployment rate, such high other rates of low educational standards. But I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that when people have a go at us on this side of the House for our appalling, so-called appalling 7.3% unemployment rate, I want to reply by saying Argentina, the UK, Sweden, the Philippines, Peru, Paraguay, Israel, Greenland and Finland are all between 7 and 7.9%. And I'm not saying that it is great to have a 7% unemployment rate, but I'm saying that what people need to do is actually look very seriously at the world economy and what effect that has had on our country and others around the world. Spain, Mr. Speaker, 25% unemployment. Greece, 25%. Portugal, 15%. Ireland, 15%. Those figures, sir, show that the world economy did tank, and it has taken a while to get back on track. And New Zealand is no different than any other country in the world. We have our struggles, and I know that there are other parties, and I respect what they say in terms of where they want to go, in terms of where they want to print money and do whatever. But at the end of the day, we're the government, and we have to make some calls on what we do. And I'm absolutely glad that we do have a national government in charge of the economy, because the national government, a national party, are the only ones that have shown in the past, when there is bad times out there, who do you call? Not Ghostbusters, of course, but you call on the National Party because it has experience in running the country, and in running the country in bad times, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to also make this point quite clear, and it's another completely different issue. And those of my culture who continue to shout at the top of their voices that we don't recognise the white man's law, and in the same breath, Mr. Speaker, in court they use the excuse for their own criminality, such as the growing and the supplying of cannabis to our community. Sir, this is a growing concern of mine, that our people, Māori people, are standing up in court and saying, I don't recognise the Pākehā law, I don't recognise the white man's law, and it's because they're using their culture as an excuse for their own criminality. And Mr. Speaker, I am really, really concerned at those people. And these are people who are leaders in our community, or supposedly say they are leaders in our community. So my message to these people, who are no more than just petty criminals, that's all they are, is to get off this bandwagon and stop using our culture, which is a beautiful culture, which is a magnificent culture. Stop using it for your own criminality. Kia ora.
Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, I'm glad that the Speaker who just preceded me mentioned that the quote, "At the end of the day, we are the government," and that is absolutely correct. Finally, a member on that side of the House who is willing to stand up and take responsibility